Hi, my name is Tatiana, and my project will be on music and child development, specifically how early musical training enhances verbal intelligence in children. Before I start, one of the reasons that I decided to do this project was because there's always this sort of claim that teenagers make that, oh, I study better when I listen to music or when I'm doing my homework, it helps me concentrate. And sometimes I'm guilty of that too. But also, I used to work with little children, and most of our activities, when they were in song or we sort of sang out definitions, they tended to be more focused and remember the information a lot better than when we were just sitting down and doing flashcards. So I got interested to know whether this was actually true and whether music such as Mozart effect, which I have heard earlier in my high school years, actually had cognitive benefits. And so that's what I decided to do, and so now continue my presentation. Music has always been such a vital and influential component of cultures and the way we live in society. It affects our mood, concentration, creativity, and even memory, which is why I decided to do my topic on music and child development, specifically how early musical training enhances verbal intelligence in children. First, it's important to understand how the right and left hemispheres of the brain function in response to music. The right hemisphere engages in synthesizing several different parts to create a cohesive whole when processing new information, while the left hemisphere moves step by step when processing new information. So it makes sense that the right hemisphere is responsible for focusing on the melody of the music, while the left hemisphere is responsible for understanding the musical structure and motor skills that go into something such as playing the violin. Other parts of the brain that respond to music are the cerebellum, which creates the emotional reaction people have to music. It reacts to slight changes in the normal tempo of a song or a piece of music. The forebrain interprets the structure and overall meaning of a piece. The nucleus accumbens and ventral tegmental react to the sound of music by releasing dopamine, which we know is linked to the brain's reward system, which makes music pleasurable or not pleasurable. The medial prefrontal cortex responds to the emotions and memories of past music, and the superior temporal gyrus is important in melody processing. In fact, it was also found that musicians also have a different brain structure than non-musicians. The National Institute of Health reports that musicians have a chunky batch of nerves interconnecting the right and left portions of the brain and have more development in the auditory and motor structures of the brain. In this study, the Mozart Effect Music for Children collection was tested to see how it affected the social, cognitive, and physical skills of children 5 and 6 years old. The music of Mozart was introduced into the children's environment as a sensory background for the standard curriculum. 42 children participated in the study. 21 of the participants were in the experiment group, which were exposed to the music of Mozart in their daily school program for 8 months. The second half was the control group, which were placed in the same conditions but were not exposed to the music of Mozart. After 8 months, the children were evaluated using the preschool and kindergarten children's performance scale, established and developed by Al Bash in Jordan in 2001. The results show significant statistical differences in social, cognitive, and physical development of the children in the experimental group, which were the children that had the music play in the background. The importance of the study suggests that music can become an important part of any educational setting. It provides a positive atmosphere which helps children to experience reduced stress and enhanced development. Continuing to look into a more recent study was a Canadian study conducted at York University by psychologist Sylvain Moreno, which suggested that early music education, when we talk about music education, we mean structural music training versus visual arts program, and that music education stimulates a child's brain, leading to improved performance in verbal intelligence. In this study, half of the children participated in a music program, which included training in rhythm, pitch, melody, voice, and basic musical concepts. The other 24 took part in a visual arts program, which emphasized the development of visual spatial skills relating to concepts such as shape, color, line, dimension, and perspective. Before and after their 4 weeks of training, the children took a vocabulary test to design to measure verbal ability and a block design test to measure spatial intelligence. Their level of brain activity was measured using an electroencephalograph. The results showed that those who received musical training raised their scores for the visual intelligence test. 91% of the 24 children who had music who were in the music program showed improvement. Furthermore, ERP analysis demonstrated changes in kids' brain activity that increases their ability to understand words and explain their meaning, suggesting that music training had a transfer effect, enhancing their ability to understand words and explain their meaning. In fact, the children who received this visual arts training showed no significant increase in either verbal or spatial skills. It is important to note here that this means there exists a causal relationship between music training and improvements in language and executive functioning, supporting the possibility of a broad transfer between high levels of cognitive abilities. According to the Center for New Discoveries in Learning, learning potential can be increased in a minimum of 5 times by using this 60 beats per minute music. Dr. George Lozano, a Bulgarian psychologist, created a way to teach foreign languages in a fraction of the normal time. Using this system, students could learn up to 1/2 of the vocabulary and phrases for the whole school term. Along with this, the average retention rate of the students was 92%. So in conclusion, music enhances cognitive function and is linked to increased language development and seems like a strong platform for teaching children. This information has beneficial and insightful information of cognitive process that could be used to better understand learning techniques of children and their behaviors. An important takeaway from all this from a psychological perspective is that we have to adjust our educational system to better accommodate the different needs of different